Today I'm going to talk about a lot of the challenges that we as teachers face when working with gifted students. A lot of times, people view gifted children as extremely bright and just like all the other kids, but smarter. But really, that's not true. Students that are gifted develop at different rates intellectually, emotionally, and physically. An example could mean that a child who is 5 could read a chapter book, but they might still have temper tantrums like any other 5-year-old would do. Gifted students are typically more depressed, are thought of as destructive, perfectionists, and underachievers. These students often get bored in class and during the lessons and are very unmotivated to learn. These students are also typically sought out at a young age as being more of social outcasts or labeled as the brain. And also, these students, in order to rebel against being bored in class, are thought of as the class clown. One of the challenges that we face is that administrators focus too much on those that are underachieving or below standards. Many people believe that this is because of the No Child Left Behind Act, which puts a lot of pressure on administrators and teachers to work with those lower students. Here are some tips for working with gifted children, whether they be in your classroom or in your school. It is so important to interact with the families of these students and to make a plan. Let them talk and you can find out what they want. Don't just look at these students as the brain or the nerd. Look at these students as any other child in your class. Remember that these students aren't different, and it's very important to make sure that they feel like they are part of the classroom community. One of the most important things I think that you can do is to be an advocate for your gifted students. Fight for them, work hard for them, put in those extra hours for those students. I think it's also important to remember that these students are perfectionists. Do not try to change their perfectionistic tendencies. It will not work. As you can see, here's a scale, and perfectionists will freak out over the smallest mistake. Something I think is very important is that you do not ask these students to do more of the same work faster, and you do not make these students the junior teacher. The National Association for Gifted Children has so many resources for parents, teachers, and gifted children. It's a wonderful tool. I recommend. The most important thing that I can stress about working with gifted students is that we need to remember why we teach. We teach knowing that each student comes to school to learn and to grow individually, and that's our job as teachers with each student.